It's 100 degrees, mini heat wave in the northeast with the humidity. I'm not doing much outside, so I'm gonna shoot this quick little video and talk about what I learned in my 30s and even 40s about friendship. Now, I grew up in the Bronx, had my junior high school friends. We were into BMX, we bonded through that, and in school, and you know, I would consider this group my best friends. Now, it's not realistic that you keep your best friends from high school and junior high school forever, but why not? I still have a few, and those I value the most, because what I learned about friendship over the years, sometimes you're the better friend than they are. Basically, you know, when they needed favors and they had drama in their life, and you would kind of like co-sign to their drama, either to support them, to help them solve a problem and try to get them out of drama. I was that friend, because out of the group, my family did probably a little bit better than their families. So I always had a car, I always had gas money, I always had food money. And so I guess I was that friend that, oh, we need to drive to the club. Hector don't drink. Let's call Hector and invite him. Okay, so I would get invited with these guys, you know, to the club, and I knew I was going to be the designated driver, no problem. I don't drink, I got no problem, and we'll hang out. I'll have some fun, you know. I'm going to the club with some guys that are more experienced or whatever. Maybe they look cooler than me. There's no problem. But it gets to a point where you kind of grow up and you kind of mature, and you kind of realize that when it's not the club and it's co-signing to drama, like, oh, his old lady kicked him out. You get a call in the middle of the night. She's throwing my stuff in the hallway. Could you come help me, pick me up, get my stuff? I need to keep it at your house for a while till I figure things out. I'm the friend that'll show up, come up with a plan to mitigate the drama, and, you know, show up, all his stuff, his girl is raging at him, all his stuff is in the hallway thrown. He has to work in the morning, and I'm like, okay, go down to the grocery store, get the heavy duty garbage bags, put your clothes in the bags, and let's put it in the truck and just leave. We'll figure things out later. So I'm that friend. But a lot of things like that, where it's like one way, and then I'm starting to settle into the idea, like, yeah, it's one way, you know, but they include me on some stuff, and then there's always an angle where it's always advantageous to them to have me around, you know. They're like, oh, you want to go 4 or 5 states on a 5-hour drive with me to help pick up a part for my car, and we're going to stay at my brother's house, and it'll be cool. We'll meet the guys down there, we'll see the car, blah, blah, blah. And sounds like fun, but I really know he needed my truck to carry the part, which was pretty heavy. And basically I was the Uber driver, and he would get the tolls and the gas, you know, because it would be asking a little too much for me to pay all that. But my time, the wear and tear, whatever. But we were friends, so we were kind of hanging out. We were into the cars, and it sounded like fun, and it was fun, but the underlying base of it is that he needed a favor that helped him, and I don't mind helping him. But when it's helping your friend 95% of the time, and then when you ask yourself, if I needed that favor from him, would he do the same for me? and I didn't have that feeling. And secretly, I never really asked that from them because I didn't want to get disappointed. So I kind of like held on to the illusion of friendship just because I didn't have many friends, I was a quiet guy, whatever. And I just didn't want to have confrontation because, believe it or not, guys don't want confrontation, I could have said at 21 years old, oh man, I'm always doing you favor, blah, 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 blah. I was afraid of losing my friends, even if they were one-way friends. So that's a personality thing that took a little bit of maturing to get over. And I'm always a slow bloomer. And so the point of this is that if you're younger and you're kind of like in the same boat, I'm here to tell you that when I finally put my foot down and I just stopped responding to these people, and and pretty big incidents led me to this point where my mom passed away, and he knew my mother very well, and I didn't even get a text or condolences or a phone call say, hey brother, what do you need, so sorry, blah blah blah. That's all it would have taken. I wouldn't have needed financial help, I wouldn't needed logistical help, I wouldn't need him to drive things around. So all they had to do was just reach out and just give condolences and just acknowledge that my mom passed away like I did theirs. See, that's where I took day off of work, took my mother to their mother's funeral and did all that. And, I did my job as a friend, I felt. And then it wasn't returned for me. And right then, I finally built up the courage to say, that's it, I'm done. I am done. I am not going to miss you because I never relied on you for anything. And you started to do well in your life. You didn't take me along to share when you had, because when I had, I shared what I had when you didn't have. And now I assumed that when you were doing well, our friendship would start to be more even. Didn't happen because people don't change. People really don't change. So just ghosted them, and when people were asked about it, their brothers would be like, hey, listen, I know you guys don't talk, what's going on? I frankly tell them, I say, listen, it's a one-way friendship and I'm done with it. He didn't say nothing about my mom, and that's it. I got no interest in knowing what he does, knowing what they do. I'm done. Plain and simple. They're like, oh man, yeah. And they kind of admitted that, they could be that way. I was like, yeah, I'm done. Took me a long time, 35 years old or something, 40 years old, but I'm done. And the message is, look at your friends, evaluate, because sometimes it can make you unhappy having these kinds of friends around. It may not be depression, but if you got a slight little nagging feeling that you're always the better friend, you don't need that. You don't. You really don't. And they need you more than you need them. And they're like a tick. You want to walk around with ticks on you, sucking a little bit of blood. Yeah, it won't kill you. This tick won't kill you. But you don't need it. You got to realize what is the definition of a friend. And here it comes to. So that's a definition of a friend is someone who shares your wins, are with you with your losses, encourage you. They're honest with you, even if you don't want to hear what they have to say. They could tell you in a way that's not confrontational, not insulting. because there's a genuine effort to help you, and it should work both ways. My friend, another friend of mine, told me that, you know, he hit this financial state, which is awesome. And I was like, wow, that's awesome, dude. You know, you worked hard, you deserve this, you know, what's your plans? Yeah, that sounds great. You know, there's no envy, there's no, oh, if I would have saved, oh, you're so lucky that you had this opportunity, oh, this. No, none of that, you know. He's winning, I want to celebrate with his win. If I'm doing something good, they celebrate my wins and they tell me, man, yeah, you're doing good. You know, you're not blow smoke up each other's butts, but generally share each other's wins and help each other be successful, you know, enjoy each other's time, even if it's just occasional text or even sharing stuff on Instagram, you know. It's an even relationship. You know, sometimes I keep a mental, like a logbook of favors and financial things. One friend bought me dinner last time. I'm going to insist. Wow, a tree must have fell behind me. I don't think nobody was cutting trees. There was no saw, a sound of saw. I think the extreme heat, a tree just fell. So that's interesting. So anyway, let's get on. So you got to celebrate wins. There's got to be genuine exchange. I keep a logbook, mental logbook of if someone paid for dinner one time, you know they shouldn't be paying for dinner the next time, you know. And if I borrowed something from them and they ask me to borrow something, and they don't even have to ask. If I see a situation where they need a chainsaw, talking about trees, let's say, oh, I'm cutting wood in my back. Hey, listen, you need a chainsaw? You know, I got a good one. Might come in handy. Borrow it anytime. Want me to bring it over? You know, stuff like that is appreciated, and that's what friends is about. You know what I'm saying? And if you just enjoy each other's time and conversation, just have fun, that's what friends are about. So if you got these friends that are hanging around you and you feel it's a one-way friendship or uneven, evaluate it and do something about it, you know. Sometimes confronting them and saying, listen, I always do this for you, but and trying to fix it, I don't think it's going to work because people don't change their ways. They are like that for a reason because that's what they're in it for. You can't change their ways. The only thing you could change is who you keep around you and take care of your peace of mind and your resources and your efforts and your time, because time, you're not going to get it back. And at 50 plus years old, that's a huge lesson. Watch what you do with your time and don't spend time on friends that are just no good, one-way friends. So that's it. I'm gonna get out of here before a tree falls on my head. I don't need that. Might get me a lot of views, but I don't know, I kind of like my head. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the new channel. Thanks.